I think I found the problem. Freaking
Is
OBS.
it
Check, check,
Oh,
mic
chat.
check.
What?
Where you
You
at,
guys
What?
gonna
chat?
laugh.
Is it working now?
What?
Oh, I think we got it.
flipping tables for spaghetti? All right.
Well, the chat.
Yeah,
Are we
yeah.
all here? I hear
All
them.
right.
Whoa!
Yay.
Oh,
Hey.
man, finally. Woo!
Episode 1, ladies and
Oh, give
gentlemen.
it up.
Episode
We're
1.
live, we're live. We got sound. Throw out the monkey. Yes. Woo! All right.
Eureka. Good mic check. All right,
All
mic
right.
check. It only took what? Good solid 8 minutes. We got things rolling.
Hey,
Sorry about that, everyone.
That's
Welcome
pretty
to
good.
the first episode of Battlefield 1. This is all going to be cut. All going to be cut in post-production.
Trim.
Yep.
All right, so Battlefield 1, Let's Talk podcast about Battlefield featuring, let's go do roll call real fast. Welcome Izzy.
How's it going, everybody?
Welcome Mambo.
Mambo B in the house.
And we have together with us as well, Flak Fire.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm your host, Echo Limits. All right. So we're off to an amazing start. And we're just going to go straight into it. So I'm going to tell you guys quickly about the podcast. For those of you guys watching for the first time in my channel, it's a way for us as a community to come together and get our opinions out there. Draw a good conversation with not just YouTubers and Twitch streamers, but most importantly, you guys, the chat, you, the people who watch our content, who make this community better. Because without it, it's just a couple of people talking, playing Battlefield or whatever it is. But I think together, if we come together and we do something about it, we can tell DICE, show DICE that there's a huge community that cares about, for instance, console Battlefield, and just can come together and analyze the game to try to see, make it better and things like that. So we're going to provide some cool discussions. You're going to get our opinion live, especially if you watch Izzy or Flak, since they're not live streamers. You get to talk to them here on an open forum live at the end of the show. So I'll tell you guys about the format in a minute. So that's the key part about this. And hopefully you'll join us each week. Each time that we stream. Our goal currently is to do this twice a month. So it's going to be like a bi-weekly podcast. And we're going to talk about anything and everything there is to talk about in Battlefield. And these guys signed on. I don't know, man.
Someone told me there'd be cookies. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, I haven't gotten my cookies yet.
There will be refreshments and snacks at the end. All right. So we have a few questions. First of all, obviously, since this is our first podcast together, I'm going to give everyone an opportunity to tell a little bit about themselves. So the first topic of today is going to be how did you get into Battlefield? All right. So we're gonna start off with Izzy. Izzy, take it away.
All right,
The question is,
so-
how'd you get into it?
Battlefield for me. The first time I ever saw Battlefield, I was 10. And I was hanging out at my friend's house, and his dad was playing 1942 on his computer. And I sat there and I watched him for like 30 minutes, and I was blown away by this game I had never seen. Because at the time, the only thing I'd ever really played was like Spyro and Zelda and Crash Bandicoot, those kind of games. So seeing Battlefield was mind-blowing. It was amazing. I didn't even really know what multiplayer games were. I wasn't super into gaming, but watching him play against other people was like one of these whoa moments for me. And I went home and I convinced my parents to get 1942. It barely ran on our ancient Dell desktop. It was horrible, but I loved every minute of it. Then I tried to play Battlefield on PC up until Bad Company 1 when I made the switch over to console. And ever since then, I've been completely addicted to Battlefield. So I've been playing for the past 10 years, and it's been awesome.
Well, that's interesting, because Bad Company 1 was one of those games where they came out of nowhere from the Battlefield franchise, which was PC franchise, and the first time said, oh, we're making a new Battlefield game, but only for console. Everybody was like, why? That was a strange move by them, but here we are. All of us are console players. So obviously, there's something to enjoy there. Cool, Izzy. Appreciate that. All right, Mambo, you up next. Tell everybody what you've been up to and how'd you get into Battlefield.
All right. Hello, guys. I've been gaming since probably a lot of you were born, but I found Battlefield back in the day on the PlayStation 3. I made this switch over from a little game they call Call of Duty. And I seen some Battlefield Bad Company 2 gameplay, but the graphics of Battlefield at that time were not that great compared to COD, in my opinion. I thought the graphics were a little bit better on COD at Battlefield Bad Company 2 stage.
What's crazy is COD never updated their graphics, but
Yeah,
they're still on the same
they've
thing.
had the same formula for 15 years or whatever, but we won't go there.
Back then, they did look cool. It was
They're
nice
easy to
graphics.
hate. They set themselves up.
Mambo, you're a
Yeah,
superficial guy. We got you.
Yeah, and I found Battlefield 3 on the PlayStation 3 as I was just finishing up the Uncharted 2 series. And Uncharted 2 was a game of the year at the time. I'd played a lot of Killzone 2 before the Uncharted series, and I fell in love with the Killzone series, and it was a first-person shooter. So when Battlefield 3 came out, it kind of filled that void for me, like of the first-person shooter realm, because, you know, Uncharted is a third-person shooter. So when I found Battlefield 3, I was like, whoa, this took me by storm. Like, I really like this game. I think they had the right amount of players on PS3. It was reduced player count versus the 64 player. They had the 32 player. You guys can remember Operation Metro and those choke points. It just really, it took me by storm. I got like 2,000 hours on Battlefield 3, and ever since then I've been a Battlefield head. Like, I'm nuts for Battlefield. I played the heck out of Battlefield Hardline, Battlefield 4, and now Battlefield 1. And that's where I found Battlefield. I'm loving it, man.
Awesome. And let's go over to Flack. Flack, tell everybody what you've been up to and how'd you get into Battlefield.
All right. Well, Battlefield for me, I started with Battlefield 1942 on the PC. I had one of those, e-machines where it was like never obsolete, but of course it totally was. So eventually I did go to console after Battlefield 1942. Admittedly, I did play a lot of Call of Duty too, but what really drew me into Battlefield as a franchise was you had Battlefield Bad Company. I played that on 360, and I really liked the characters in that, as well as the map design and just really everything about that game. Kind of drew me in. I had also been playing a lot of a game called Wolfenstein Enemy Territory on PC, which was like a freeware, multiplayer game, and it had basically the same class design as you had in the Battlefield games. So it was a very easy transition for me to go from that game to Battlefield. And with Battlefield 3, when that came out, I just kind of never looked back. So yeah, been a Battlefield fan for a while, but
So wait, you mean to tell me you never even picked up Infinite Warfare or
I did
Advanced
not.
Warfare?
You're not missing much.
I did
I picked
play
those up, man.
Advanced Warfare for a little bit, but I swore to myself and to the YouTube people, I was like, I'm not going to buy Infinite Warfare. And all the comments were like, he's totally going to buy it. He's going to do it. And no.
All right, guys, for record right now, he did not get it. All right, awesome. You guys, let me tell you guys about myself in case you're watching on YouTube or recording. I feel like a lot of people from my channel already know, but my background comes from the days I spent at my girlfriend's house. I literally, she had a room they called the PlayStation room, and at her house, everybody used to come over and play PlayStation games. And so I would be there like with the Slim. It was all connected. And me and my best friend just got Modern Combat, Battlefield 2, and it's just the same thing. Like Mambo, you said, or Izzy, you said, you were talking about like, oh my God, all these people are actual players. And when you shoot someone, you shot someone who was holding controllers and now is mad. And I was like, yeah, this is cool. Like you shoot NPCs in a game, they have no feelings. You just kind of mow them down. You're like, all right, I got a little medal for killing all these things. When you shoot another player, that's a whole different thing. And so I got hooked, instantly hooked. Battlefield 2 Modern Combat on PlayStation 2, and then I was stuck on that for a while. And my best friend got a 360. He's like, you gotta just pick this up. We'll play Bad Company 1. And I was like, but they don't have Conquest, because Bad Company 1 only had this game mode, which is brand new. It was called Rush. And I was like, I want to play that, And then you guys know, some of you who know me, I ended up playing in Battlefield 4, that is at least like 2,000 hours of just rush gameplay. That's it. So I love that objective-oriented gameplay. That's what's been telling me to play Battlefield, and the fact that there is destruction. I mean, it was one of the first games to introduce destruction at this kind of a scale. Like buildings would drop. You know,
Yeah.
Bad Company 1, you could pop holes in buildings, but it wasn't buildings falling down. Bad Company 2, I think that's still to this day why people love Bad Company 2. I mean, you could knock down entire buildings. And it was kind of cheesy too. Some of the rush objectives were inside a building. You're like, well, I could go get it, or I could knock down this building, and apparently you just get it, you know?
Hey, that was extra tactical, aspect
there
of
was
the game
tactics.
there. That was great.
So I loved that destruction aspect, the fact that you play with so many people online, and I just got hooked. Every time I would come home, I'd just be playing Battlefield, nothing else but Battlefield, you know, and to the night, and then to this day, sometimes I play with no sound because I used to be in my room when I lived with my mom. You know, I had to close the door, and I play with no sound, just on a monitor, and I'd be like killing them, right? And then if my mom heard just a little bit, I swear, if she heard a little bit, she'd come in yelling, and my friends on Xbox would be laughing. You know, it's just good old days. So that's my background in Battlefield. I share the same love like everybody else here, and I wanted you guys and everybody watching here or watching on YouTube to know that this podcast, somebody's got a call. This podcast is really about that love of Battlefield. Because my guess is, if you're watching on Twitch, if you're watching on YouTube, you probably love this game as much as we do. So I'm excited to have everybody, and hopefully you guys got a chance to meet everyone here. So let's go jump into the second topic. We're gonna do these topics for a few rounds, and then at the end there's gonna be an open chat with you guys in the chat. So save your questions till the end. So we're gonna go through to the next topic. What we're gonna talk about is now that Battlefield 1 is out, you know, I felt like you get our opinion on where we come from for the Battlefield field. I want to get everybody's opinion on, you know, Battlefield 1's out, and there's a lot to like. So what's your number one thing that you do like? Izzy, what's up, man? What's that one thing?
I think it's battle packs. I think they're awesome. It's probably my favorite edition. How they did it gives you something to work for when you're playing. That constant.
You're telling me you didn't like Battlefield 4's constant XP battle packs? Come on, that was great.
I have
man.
I have almost 2,000 25% boosts. I'm never gonna use them all. But I don't know. I love the camos.
I'm OCD, and I tried to use them all just out of OCD, and it never got there. It's like you're scraping, and you never get to the bottom of the barrel. And you're just there, like, why?
I've got so many. They're just gonna sit there unused. I don't know. I
Those
do like
things are garbage.
the squad boosts in Battlefield 1. How they work. You can give your whole squad an XP boost.
Yeah, that's
When we play like with my friends, we'll rotate using them. So we just stack them on top of each other, and we always have. But I don't know. I think the way they did battle packs it's got to be my favorite thing they changed in Battlefield 1.
So then,
Nice.
how do you feel about them rotating the battle packs?
I think that makes it even better. Gives you something new to look forward to. If it was just the same stuff, you'd go through all of it in a week. Then you wouldn't have anything new to get.
Yeah, definitely. I'm still waiting for, like player customization and DLC mustaches.
Yes.
Battle packs.
Oh, yo, the DLC mustache would be so.
I want a
on point.
handlebar.
Dude, I didn't get my Lone Ranger white horse that was out a few weeks ago. I was so upset.
That sucks, because I know you like the horse.
Oh, I love the horse.
So wait, so talking about on that, Izzy, but how do you feel about them going in? There was like a big, for those of you guys who don't know in the chat right now, are you watching? There was a big to-do about the legendary status of certain of vehicle skins. So the big thing is you guys know there's a legendary, there's a distinguished, and there's a special. That's the way they chose to name them. Like, to me, a word special is great, right? Instead, special is not good this time. Like, okay, DICE.
Which one's better? Right.
Yeah, like, is legendary better than special? Or I don't know. But no, it goes from special to distinguished to legendary. But you would think that I guess the percentage of getting them would be equal across all legendaries or all distinguished or all specials, or however they set that up. But apparently, when the holiday thing came out, the armor for, was it the heavy at the time? Yeah, right?
I think it was the heavy.
Yeah. So that
Yo,
one
Matthew
was
Selby.
like almost impossible. Yo, Matt, what's up? Almost impossible to get completely. Either they said it was glitched, but I just think they put a really, really low percentage compared to everything else, and they unfairly labeled it. What do you think, Izzy?
I actually like that, having stuff that's really, really hard to get that only a few people will have. Because if you manage to get it, then it's just like one of those I'm special. You get to feel proud of yourself, even though it's completely random on who got it. I like stuff like that. If everyone has the same camos, then they stop being special. Then there's no point of even labeling the different types, legendary and special and all of that. I think making some that are exclusive or crazily hard to get is a good thing.
See,
Yeah.
I was going to say, like, I really, really like the way that that's done. Of course, like, I did a lot of playing Diablo, growing up with the PC and, Diablo 3 on Xbox. And it's like, there's just something about finding like that super, super rare thing that makes it a lot of fun. And it's something that like motivates you to keep playing. I think it's great.
Like, that's called gambling.
It is gambling. That's why Destiny is so popular and CSGO.
The gambling scandal.
No, but all jokes aside, I think the only thing I was wondering about that whole topic is should they have named something above that, like special, distinguished, legendary, and should it have been called something else rather than calling it legendary? That was the big deal,
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Then they later put it in
super rare.
Super rare, by the way. Don't think you're gonna get this one. Okay.
Maybe they could publish like the odds of getting it behind it in parentheses, like 1 in 10,000 opportunity skin or something.
Yeah.
I think
So
Level Cap was
that's
calling
legit.
out for that. Yeah. All right, we're gonna go into next part. What do you think, Mambo? I got somebody knocking, so I'm gonna just check that real fast.
I'll take it over. Put a note on the door outside. Do not enter podcast live right now. You know what I mean? What's the odds? Mailman drive. Hopefully it's something good.
Yeah, like I don't know, some cool.
It better be those
The
cookies.
question was what they brought to Battlefield 1, correct?
Yes.
Is he? All right.
Best addition to Battlefield 1.
I think the DICE developers have learned as they've made the Battlefields, and they've learned from other franchises that they've made. For instance, they produced a game called Battlefront for LucasArts for Disney, and they took this whole ability to make things photorealistic and make it into a game. And they incorporated that into the Frostbite engine. It was like, whoa, this looks real. Like you could put your hand in the water if you had a virtual headset, right? So I think the photorealism, the destruction they brought back from Battlefield Bad Company 2 level, what I seen was crazy destruction in Battlefield Bad Company 2, and we're seeing that again in Battlefield 1, a lot of destruction. When in Battlefield 4, they mentioned, well, we don't want to destruct everything because then the maps become unplayable or it changes the flow of the map and the gameplay. So they chose that route to funnel us. And now this time they said, well, guess what? You can make big craters in the ground with mortars and bombs, and you can tear down a whole building if you want. Have at it. And we were, as Battlefield community, I was like, yeah, baby.
Yeah. I was surprised by that too. When I first got a chance to play Battlefield 1, it was just like the level of destruction coming from Hardline, which is like the least amount of destruction I've ever seen in a Battlefield game. But that's a good point right there. I do like
the
that.
destruction, the photorealism, and they also brought over a game mode from a game company that they kind of renamed to DICE LA, and they learned from the Medal of Honor series about this operations game mode that they brought over from Medal of Honor.
Dude, that's from Medal of Honor?
Yeah, it's awesome. I love Medal of Honor for that game mode. It just left a mark on me. I'm like, whoa, what is this game mode? It feels like you're actually on a battlefield pushing an enemy force back into a territory that they held before. And then the thing that Medal of Honor did a little bit further, you could actually push the enemies back one set of objectives where they don't do that in Battlefield 1, right? Say, for instance, you're on Conquer Hell on Battlefield 1 and you're at the ballroom. you get pushed all the way back to where the E flag would be on Conquest. But if the defending team is strong enough, they could push them back to the ballroom, and then you have to start those objectives all over again. A game could last 3 hours if they didn't push all the way through, whereas it's a ticket system now in Battlefield 1. Back then, it was like if you didn't push them all the way, then you'd lose, right? Mm-hmm. It's who pushed who. It was almost like a tug of war.
Yeah.
So the operations, the destruction, and the photorealism, those are probably equal in my book what they brought to Battlefield 1. That it gives me a thumbs up for Battlefield 1.
It's nice, Mambo. You're supposed to pick one, man. You're cheating.
I know. I picked 3. I like them all.
You said they're equal. You know what? I'm a math teacher. To me, that's all fine. So fine. It's
1 + 1 + 1.
That's 1. Yeah. Chat, go crazy. All right, Flack. One thing that you like. What is that one thing that you think that Battlefield 1 brought in?
For me, and it shouldn't really surprise anybody, that it is the time period. Like if you watch like any of the YouTube videos that I have, they're all like, historically oriented stuff. Like World War I was a very, very interesting time period. And, a lot of, actually, I don't think there's any other AAA titles that really did World War I. You had Indy doing Verdun, but nobody, out of the big players has really tackled World War I stuff. So it was like completely untapped. And for me, it's neat to have all of these different toys, right? Like you love playing with vehicles, you love playing with weapons, airplanes, whatever. And there's just something about playing with something that you haven't played with before. And you might say, it's just skinned differently or, something along those lines. But I think that's the most fascinating part about Battlefield 1 was that they chose to go to World War I and that they made it work in, a pretty modern way. Everybody always had the idea that World War I was just trenches and it was stationary and nothing interesting happened. And DICE really, really changed everything and proved that wrong.
Yeah, I look back. It seems like it took courage for them to do so. Because I'll be honest, I didn't think it was a good idea. When I heard that, I was like, I don't know, man.
And I would agree. And it's actually, there's a story about how DICE tried to pitch it to EA, and EA said, no, like you can't do World War I.
You crazy,
and
right?
DICE was like, yes, we can. And here's how this is going to work. And I'm really happy that the Swedes had really strong backbones, and they were like, we're going to do this, and it's going to be awesome. And it really turned out that it worked that way. And we haven't seen any of the DLC content yet, but like again, going back to history, there's just certain things about World War I that you don't see in World War II and beyond, because they had a lot of really revolutionary designs, and things were evolving very, very quickly at that time. So, you have designs that are out there that, they were kind of a dead end, and past this point in time, you don't see them anymore. Like triplanes, for example, those were almost the pinnacle of technology at that point. And then beyond the 20s, everybody started moving in a different direction. And the same thing can be said for the weapons and everything. But that part of it's just fascinating for me. So to be able to play in that time period in a video game, and especially a Battlefield video game, is amazing.
I think the photorealism does add to it too, Mambo. Because, coupled with that, they really sold me on how it looks like World War I. Everything is just pretty legitly done there. I'd have to agree.
I think
you guys are YouTubers. Perfect. You guys know that Battlefield has the most liked video game trailer of all time, right? Battlefield 1. That was
and Call of Duty is the least.
Yeah.
I was one of the dislikes on that Call of Duty trailer. Just saying.
I definitely disliked that, and I liked Battlefield. I watched that Battlefield trailer quite a few times myself.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So okay. So the thing I've prepared to tell you guys about what I feel it was the best. I kind of put 2 things, so I cheated in a way too, because I know I'm gonna go last. So I was like, well, if somebody says this, I'm gonna try to prepare another. So the Mambo did touch upon this. Operations is just phenomenal. If it wasn't for Operations, would I still be playing Battlefield 1? Maybe not as much. Conquest is like a staple to the series, but it's never been my staple because I think it's very casual. And I do like to just have fun, but I like to have something to do while I have fun. So like in Conquest, sometimes I feel like there's nothing to do. There's just like, oh yeah, there's a flag there, but by the time I get there, and if I'm the only one on the flag, I have to spend 5 minutes, just sitting on it because I'm capping. Nobody else is with me. And I'm always that one guy. I go off the beaten path where everybody funnels one way. I see that the whole group is going that way. I mean, enemy group is going that way. I try to go all the way around and like get the far base in the back and, try to do that. And then I'll be the last guy sitting there doing that. So I've always liked a game mode with a purpose, with like instant gratification, Operations Rush has always been like that for me. So I'm not gonna too much about Operations, but I'm gonna mention something that has been mentioned, and I kind of enjoy the movement system. It's changed. In Battlefield 4 and all the other Battlefields, the bunny hoppers and all that stuff.
I remember.
I miss it. I can't bunny hop anymore.
You miss it?
Oh, I miss it
I remember
so much.
Echo you talking about that in one of your streams, that you could almost bunny hop your way from getting killed.
Oh yeah.
If you knew the system, you could juke a little bit, bunny hop. They would not hit you. Get good hit detection, and you could return fire and turn on them.
Oh, the things I could do in Battlefield 4. People would
I think
be like,
the movement
what?
speed is too slow.
How come I can't kill him?
Yeah, but I think them cleaning up the game is going to allow for less of those unfair moments. Because I think about it, like, sure, it felt great as I was like bunny hopping and doing all these things, and I got the kill when I wasn't supposed to. And, maybe the other player wasn't as good. But at that point, I think about the perspective of that other player. Like, when you're at the other end of that, and this dude is, like, just bunny hopping and trying to abuse the game for its movement system. I think having a solid system where your character is heavier, so you have to be more deliberate. If you're going to cut a corner, you have to now dedicate yourself to cutting that corner. You can't just cut it, jump back out because you saw 10 people,
It's the same thing with laying down.
You gotta,
yeah. If you go prone, you're committed to going prone. You can't get up and get away. So it makes you make a decision. Oh, I'm going to go prone here.
Yeah, they did that to stop drop shotters. Like in Call of Duty, you would drop shot a lot, and then still be okay. I mean, you see a lot of people try to transfer to Battlefield, and they'll just go in and they'll try to drop shot you, and you're like, what are you doing? You shoot them.
Yeah, because your movement is slower when you're down prone. So all you got to do is sidestep a little bit, and they can't turn to hit you. Yeah. It's so easy to get the prone guys.
That is true. That is true. And the other thing I was thinking about is you're shooting, and while you start doing a drop down animation, you stop shooting. And then it's like a second where you cannot shoot yet because you're on the floor and you're getting your gun ready. You know what I mean? And then you start shooting. So by then you're probably dead. That's to minimize the drop shot. And I think that's a lesson they learned. In a way, Battlefield, if I think about my first Battlefield, Battlefield 2 Modern Combat on PlayStation, I don't know if you guys got a chance to play it. You used to be able to do the wave.
Centipede?
Yeah, no, you would be up, and then you would like crouch down, and then up and crouch down, and you wouldn't lose momentum at all. You would just go, and it'd be really hard to hit you. And it was just like really exploitable. So I feel like I really like that about Battlefield 1. The fact that they're taking care to making sure that the game is less exploitable in the character movements. All right.
That's legit, man.
Yeah, so we just went around saying what we like. So I feel like the most appropriate thing would be is what do you think is the biggest thing you would change in Battlefield 1? So we're going to go through. Izzy, you're our man.
All right. Well, mine is the movement. I think it's too slow. I hate how slow it is.
Bring back bunny hopping.
Bring back bunny hopping.
Well, not bunny
Guys,
hopping. I know everybody
right
hated
now.
that, but I think
Hashtag
sometimes
bring
it
it
feels
back.
sluggish.
The good old days.
I think I could run a little bit quicker. Just a little bit. Nothing crazy, but at times it feels like I'm trying to wade through water. I'm like, come on, just a little bit quicker. Just a little bit.
I think they touched upon that a little bit for you because in the beginning when you would slide, you wouldn't be able to run right away, and they changed that so now you could run. So I guess they hear you on that aspect, to try to like bridge that. I think there's got to be a medium somewhere there. So you would like to see more movement. Do you really want bunny hopping?
No. I mean, I bunny hopped just because I could, and it works. But
yeah,
no, I don't want
great.
it back. It was definitely an exploit that the good players would use and have a massive advantage over everyone who is new. So no bunny hopping needs to come back, but I would like to be able to move just a little bit quicker sometimes. because I feel compared to the other Battlefield games, you move a lot slower. Like I was playing Battlefield 4, then I switched back to 1, and I felt like a slug. I was just going in slow motion the whole time.
You got a bayonet charge.
Yeah, that thing is
Yeah, but
pretty
then
cool.
you crawl for like 30 seconds.
I hate when I get bayoneted, but I love when I do it.
Oh yeah, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Now the movement overall is smooth. I just want it to be a little quicker. That's like the only real thing I want to see changed. Maybe some more customization.
Do
But
you have like a way to do it? Have you given that some thought? Like what would be the perfect thing for you? Like
just increase the overall sprint speed slightly.
you know
Just
what
so
I
you could-
also thought? I always wanted the tanks to move slower than the actual players. So there's like hope that you can catch up to a tank that's trying to get away from you.
That's
Yeah.
not.
Or run away from a tank.
Yeah, or that. All right,
That
all
is the
right.
one
See,
thing
I
that
run
I'm
to danger.
I was
you're
gonna say,
running
when am I
from
running to
danger.
the tank?
Oh.
Well,
we
maybe
got
some more
Matthew Selby's
customization.
asking in the chat, can you crouch shoot in BF1? Can't remember.
No.
You guys know what crouch shooting is? When
You
just
can,
kind
but I
of up
think
and
it
down?
throws off your aim, and your bullets kind of go wild. But you can do it. It's just not accurate like it was in Battlefield 4.
Yeah, I think DICE just kind of went in and like looked at all these things that like the competitive scene was using to try to get an edge over one another in their gameplay, and they went on a checklist like, oh, no more crouch shooting, oh, no more bunny hopping, oh, no more this, no more, like, you used to be able to be on a corner, and if you just crouch down like into prone position, you'd see the enemy before they can see you in the whole netcode, debacle. That
Right.
Battlefield 4 had, and they just went check mark, you can't do that now, So I think it's improvements, but I think they might have. It would have been nicer to move a little faster than the vehicles, for instance. I don't know. Interesting point, Izzy. Anything else to add, or we're gonna ask Mambo?
Move over to Mambo. That's it.
Mambo, you got the floor. What do you feel they need to change about BF1?
I liked the air gameplay in Battlefield 3, and I did not care for the air gameplay in Battlefield 4. I seem like the whole rock, paper, scissors that makes Battlefield so great. I thought that the air was out of balance. They only give priority to the little bird, and then you got people that exploited the little bird in Battlefield 4. And then I think air superiority in Battlefield 3 was like, oh my God, this is like air gameplay on crack. It was like amazing. And I'm looking forward to them bringing more of that air superiority now, because I think they fixed the air balance.
Yeah, but what about the lock-on missiles?
Yeah, right. There was a
There's
lot
a
of
lot of
missiles.
lock-on in Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 and air superiority. It was just like, who
Awful.
locks on to who?
But I didn't feel that the lock-ons in Battlefield 3 were as bad as they were in Battlefield 4.
Yeah, they
Like
were definitely
Battlefield 3
worse.
almost felt like you had ways to get away from lock-ons compared to maybe it was the distance that they locked onto was shorter. Something was different in Battlefield 3 as far as being able to stay in the air. Like I felt like they had the air correct in Battlefield 3, but they went the wrong way in Battlefield 4. I'm glad since the last patch in Battlefield 1 that they've kind of balanced the air now that the fighter is stronger than the attack is stronger than the bomber, but you could still defend yourself. But the thing that I think they should bring is more planes in the sky. As I'm running on the ground and I see a plane get destroyed and fly over me, and I hear that sound of "Phew," like in the trailer of the plane crashing, that siren that comes through. When that flies over me and I'm playing and shooting on the ground, I'm a ground and pound guy just like you, Echo. As soon as I see that plane fly over, it's like, whoa, that was epic, dude. It makes you feel like, whoa, you don't get this in Call of Duty. So that's one thing I want them to bring back to Battlefield 1 is more air play. Not that I enjoy getting killed by anybody in the plane. I hate that because I'm attacking in a flag and I got it, and all of a sudden, boom, you're dead because somebody dropped a bomb on you from the sky. I'm like, really? But I feel like that brings an order of chaos that multitasking is. It's like, whoa, this is rock, paper, scissors. The air superiority of any military rules the war. Like when, Americans took over the German airspace and said, nope, we're taking over the air in World War II. Now you're nothing. It's kind of the same thing. Whoever has air superiority kind of takes the war.
The only thing is you mentioned rock, paper, scissors, and my thing is I feel like where does the attack plane land? Because the attack plane is darn good against anything on the floor, and it could be pretty good against anything in the air. I feel like that's a lack of rock paper scissors. Yeah, the only problem I have is I would like to see more airplanes in the sky, yes, but their effectiveness against ground troops that are just literally just running to objectives is too high. The fighter plane with the trench bullets, like
I've been using them today.
they're
I got
one
like a
hit kill. It's like a shotgun to your face and you didn't even see it coming. Like, oh, that's a OP. They need I don't want to see somebody from the sky one hit somebody. Like, I always think about the fun in that. Like, I'm sure you're dropping down, you're getting a kill, you're having a blast, but the guy on the floor is like, what just happened?
Yeah, it's pepper spray. It should be more like a napalm, kind of like the trip mine, the fire trip mine.
Or
If you put
maybe
it down
just
and they
like
run
80
through it,
damage,
maybe
but
something like
100.
that.
Yeah, and so I feel like, I don't know if the air to ground is balanced. Like in Battlefield 4, Chopper would destroy you, completely destroy you. And there's in so many ways. So that was not fair. And you had very little to combat him because there was so much cover, there was flares, all this stuff he can do, and ECM, jammers, all that, right? In this game, I feel like the attack plane, well, the fighter plane is like king of all, can destroy things with its gunner. And then that trench thing could destroy on the floor. Only thing it can't destroy is obviously tanks. But then again,
Double A.
Yeah. Oh, and the AA thing is pretty crazy against them. Yeah. But I feel like the attack plane, however, then is like the middle ground between all. It can effectively destroy infantry. It has little bombs that can deal some damage, and it can effectively even destroy, bombers and, I don't know, the airship. I don't know, man. I would have just liked to see that the air is good against air and vehicles and not too great against infantry, because then that would be better like rock, paper, scissors,
Yeah.
I would like to see more
I
planes,
agree.
but I think there needs to be a little bit more balance in that one. All right, Flack, how about you?
Okay, so for me, Battlefield is all about, playing a particular class. So you've got, medic, scout, support, assault, right? Like everything is class based. Like every class has a particular role, and they want to, for the assault, it's to blow up vehicles. For medic, it's to heal people, and for support, it's to resupply. And nobody's quite sure exactly what the scout is supposed to do. But the thing that I would like to see added to Battlefield 1, and a lot of people are probably going to disagree with me on it, primarily probably because it really was developed with Battlefield Hardline, and I really liked Hardline. And one of the reasons that I liked Hardline was the ability to grab health or ammunition from somebody who was playing as either the medic or the support class, basically. And, I get that, yeah, it's part of being a good team player, if you're being a support person and dropping ammo for the assault class, or if you're a medic to go out and, give, health to a teammate that's injured. And, a lot of us seem to have like this wishful thinking that, oh, everybody knows how to play these classes. They don't. And, it's something that, I can't count how many times that like, oh, I could have destroyed that tank had I just had some extra ammunition for the rocket gun or a couple more anti-tank grenades. And, people are complaining like, you need to nerf the tanks, or you need to nerf this, or you need to nerf that. And it's like, no, I just need more ammo or, more health to get it done. And if my teammates were doing their job for their respective classes, then, that issue would be reduced quite a bit. And, Battlefield Hardline was great in that regard. If somebody's flying a chopper around and I need extra ammunition, I see a support class, like ideally they should be dropping it anyway, but you can just run up to them and grab the ammo and continue playing your particular class and trying to play that objective. And I really miss that in Battlefield. And it's something that, some people say, if you remove that ability, people have to learn how to play their respective
Yeah.
class, and then they'll do it better. And I think in some cases that's certainly true, but at the same point, it's like, learn on your own time. I need this ammo now, you know. So
Oh
that is the
no,
one
it's
thing
it's like
that
that guy who tries to learn how to fly in your server, and you're like, what?
Every
Why'd you
time.
do that? Learn
And
on
he
your own
fails out
time.
on you, and you're in
Yeah.
the support seat.
You're in the plane. You're like, I'm gonna be your gunner, and then you're just like, why are we going down? Pull up, man, pull up. He doesn't pull up.
yeah,
Those are
no,
great.
it's something that it's like, if Battlefield added that to Battlefield 1, I don't think I would have any complaints about anything, because like a lot of my stuff is like, man, I should be able to do more damage to, a tank or a vehicle, because all I really play is assault, like, 80% of the time, because I like to be the one who's, stopping the big problems on the ground. But if they were to add that, I would say Battlefield 1 for me would be just about perfect, minus some very minor tweaks there. And I do understand the argument of, don't put that in there, so people got to learn to play their class. And I think on console, we're pretty good about telling people, if we have microphones or they have microphones, hey, can you drop some ammo?
Yeah.
And I think most people, if they understand what they're doing and they're aware there is a need, they'll do it. I've been playing a little bit on PC here lately, and it just hasn't been quite the same in that regard. So I don't know. That's
just,
my one thing.
Just out of curiosity, on PC, are they dropping more ammo or less?
It seems to be less to me, but
Tanks.
I haven't been playing that much, so I can't really say it. But it's just something I'm like, this would solve that problem. If you just gave me the ability to run up and take something,
Yeah.
that would be great. And it's something that's like, that would
hey.
translate into real life. If you walk up to someone, you're like, I need this. Give me
Yeah,
that.
I mean, hey, Mambo, I need cash.
No, like I was reading, I did a video about cavalry a few weeks ago, and they said the cavalry became ineffective because of tanks and machine guns and whatnot. And you guys do YouTube videos. You know that you do your homework, your research, you look up, you study stuff. And I had to study these stupid horses, and they become ineffective near the end of the war. But they did a lot of supplying. And if you see modern military technology, they created this mule robot that comes and delivers, like carries all the gear and everything. It's crazy. Look it up on YouTube. You can see these robotic horses that carry all the military supplies.
That's so dumb. Those horses must be so expensive. Why not just get a real horse?
True, but then they
What
gotta
are these
feed them,
doing?
and then they gotta cry if they die, and all that stuff, But they could bring in a horse, Flack, and then have the horse as a supply horse, so you could switch your class.
I mean,
Or-
Australians did that at Gallipoli. Why not? That's fine by me.
Right.
Wow, man. I just kind of was thinking about the whole thing. I think it's because DICE wants players to know how to play the game, know how to play their roles, but it's really bad at teaching them. I don't know if I'm pretty sure you guys noticed when this game came out, it had no tutorial. And then a few months later, an update came out, and I went to play like operations, and then there was a tutorial, and I had to I was like, it's like December. Why are you telling me how to play the game? And the in-game
Turn
hints
hints off. Yeah.
No, I have hints on because people watch my live stream and they might not know. They ask me all the time,
Yeah.
and I get this question while I live stream, like, "Yo, how can you have your hints on?" I was like, "Well, it's just so people watch the thing and they can see, reload this button and that, But I think they just don't do a good enough job walking you through a tutorial.
It's interesting. I'm complaining about this kind of stuff, but there is one thing that really needs to be said here. I think people eventually learn how to play, the support class and the medic class and assault class, and learn, what they're good for. But I think we need to be like at least conscious of the fact that like Battlefield is pulling in a lot of people who were playing Call of Duty.
Oh yeah.
And that
You
is
get
not
that a
like
lot.
a squad or a team oriented kind of game. Like it can be if you play it that way with a group, but
Very solo.
it's totally different over on Battlefield in that regard. So there is like a learning curve for a lot of people that that they have to kind of get around. And in some ways we got to teach them that. But
that's why we have a channel like yours, man. You're teaching them on the internet.
Being able to take ammo and everything would maybe relax the learning curve and at least make it easier for people who have been playing a long time.
And get your blood pressure to go down so you stop yelling at people, give me your ammo.
Just do it.
Well, I've said it for years. It would be awesome if moving forward with Battlefield, like before you're allowed to play multiplayer, you have to go through like a 15-minute boot camp of the absolute basics. Like if someone is jumping up and down in front of you, that means they need
that's
something.
The basic.
Try to help.
See this little ammo sign above their head? That means they want ammo.
If they're punching you in the face and they're on your team, they need something.
That is
even if it was something like that, it would help
tell them to
so
give me
much.
ammo. Yeah,
I would love to see like Battlefield School.
I think they need to do better on that. They definitely do. I'm gonna go throw mine in. The one thing I think they can change. I threw in a server browser. All right. In Battlefield 4, server browser was pretty important for consoles specifically because, we didn't have battle log. You didn't just get into battle log. So server browser, and it worked pretty well. You had it, and it would save your settings and all that. In Battlefield, like once they did the UI change, I don't know if you guys noticed, but all of that stuff like resets every time, and then it's so convoluted. I have a hard time looking at where I'm clicking. And it's just so annoying. I stay away from that thing like it is the plague. The server browser needs to be redone. It looks nice, graphically speaking, UI, all right, but I really do not like the server browser.
It doesn't work at all. It's infuriating trying to find a server. It takes so long. It's easier just to quick match, so nobody uses it now.
Yep, it's such a pain. And if you're gonna make something a pain to use, no one's gonna use it.
Right, and Echo, you mentioned earlier that you as well as myself have rented servers for our community to play on, and they're garbage now. We can't even get our servers filled up because the rent a server program and the server browser doesn't allow people to find our servers to play on. You
can't.
I've had it active maybe twice.
Look, I mean, I've had it somewhat active once, and I totally given up on it, and it's sad because I spent a whole 100 on it. I was like, I bought the whole thing, I guess I'll take a burn on that one. But realistically speaking, it's too hard to find it, and DICE does nothing to populate it. I have no idea how to keep it official so people from Quick Match could join it. Right. There's no information about any of this, and I feel like if you're going to purchase a server, I think DICE should prioritize keeping your server full before anybody else's server, because you actually bought the server versus the servers they're hosting anyway. But considering your settings are unofficial rules, I totally understand. When you start messing around with settings like, guys, right here, there's no knives, then you should not be quick matched into something that's not going to be the full experience of Battlefield. But that is something that's I really don't like the server. I kind of put that or because I always put the or because since I'm going last, I want to just make sure I speak about something else. My other thing was that the rental program is pretty darn awful right now. They need to fix it. They need to do something because it's enjoyable. I ran a server for 2 years on Battlefield 4. And people
I agree. I miss my favorite servers I used to play in Battlefield 4. You would have these mini communities built around servers, and that's all but gone in Battlefield 1, and I miss it a lot. I think it's taken something away from the game that used to be a staple, and I'm sad servers aren't popular anymore, like privately rented servers with custom rules or custom settings. That's gone now.
See, my only real complaint with the server browser, granted, I don't run a server or anything like that. But for me, because if I'm going to make a video or something, it's like, I have to do it on this map, or I'm going to do it here or this. Being able to see how close a server is to ending, like in regards to that map, would be amazing.
That would be awesome.
Because I hate it. It's like, especially on Xbox, admittedly, like load times can be quite long on some of the larger maps.
They load you into operations and you just lost. And you're like,
yes, exactly. Wait. And it's like, oh, now I have to wait another like 5 minutes for this to load. Great.
Yeah, I don't get that. I do not understand.
That's legit. That would definitely help out the server browser. I like a timer on it. Yeah.
There's a lot they can do. I just worry about, we've privately spoke about this. Maybe it's a good time to just talk about it anyway. That the way Dice updates games, specifically Battlefield, is they wait a long time. They drop one patch because it's expensive to throw a patch out on all these consoles. They pay hundreds of thousands of dollars just to update everybody's console game, and I don't know. It'd be nicer to have changes more frequently, and then you can kind of track how they're changing. But I understand from a business perspective that they just lump everything together as one update and they call it a major update. I don't know. I don't think that's gonna change though.
I think part of that issue, I mean, DICE has to do what EA says, a great deal of the time. And I'm pretty sure EA was like, you need to make custom servers happen now, without, any regard to, how well are these things going to work? Could we do them later? I feel like DICE probably would say, okay, let's wait on this until, we give the gamers what they want. I don't think it's an issue of, does DICE know how to run custom servers? Like, I'm pretty sure they do.
Yeah.
But
they
think
just didn't have the time to build it.
Yeah,
up.
the higher ups were like, you got to make this happen now because we want the money. So,
well, looking back at it, they didn't introduce custom servers into Battlefield 4 until almost a year into the game being released.
Yeah,
right.
But that game was not developed, and they released it, and then they kept developing it. And that's a trend nowadays. Like, look at Ark, for instance. All these games are being developed, and they start selling them.
Beta, early release.
Yeah, I mean, you start
No
pay
Man's
for
Sky.
something. Yeah,
Right.
No Man's Sky, not underdeveloped games, and that's affecting Battlefield 2, us, the community, right here, because these are underdeveloped titles. Even Battlefield 1, as complete as it feels, and had a great launch, but I still feel like these features were definitely planned features to be in the game, and they were omitted because of development cycle was too short. All right. Yo, guys, we just talked for a solid hour about what we think about Battlefield, and obviously this is not just a discussion between us four. It is a discussion between us and the chat and everybody who's involved. So I'm giving everybody an opportunity. We're going to do what I like to call the chat session. We're going to do a solid chat session with 4 personalities here. So if you got a question in the chat and you heard us speak our minds about what we like, what we dislike, and who we are, obviously since this is podcast number 1 here, here's your opportunity to ask us whatever you do. So if you're going to direct a question to someone, I would ask that you at them. They're all in the chat, so it should pop up really easily. So for instance, if you want to ask me a question, you say at EchoLimits, and there's going to be a question, and we're going to try to do like a thunder round where it's like 2-minute answers or whatever it is you guys think about everything we said. Where everybody's in the hot seat, I'm just boom, it's your turn. So as soon as you have some questions, we're going to try to incorporate them into the chat. And the last thing we kind of planned on talking about today is just a new patch that's coming out. And I think, Flack, you had some of the details about that. Why don't you tell everybody?
Well, the only thing that we've really seen in that regard with the patch, we're expecting to see more details posted on the Battlefield forum and whatever. But one of the DICE devs on Reddit confirmed that they're going to be really tweaking some of the visual recoil on the Peeper carbine for the tanker and pilot. I think a lot of people haven't been using it because it's apparently terrible.
Dude, I've tried it. It goes to the ceiling.
Yeah, so that's going to be changed. They said it's been fixed internally and it's going to be in the patch. That's the only thing really that we know has been confirmed about, okay, this is going to happen. So.
Okay, so I guess I have a first question, and you guys keep an eye on the chat. So while I talk, so if you fish out a question, you can just be like, next. First question comes from the Mr. Nippeth. Nippeth? I don't know if that's...
Nippeth?
Nippeth, do you think they should add operations to the main server list? I don't even know why they didn't. I have no clue. Why is operations treated like the ugly child that doesn't deserve to be in the server browser?
Maybe they didn't know it was going to succeed.
Oh, dude, that's such a success. I mean,
I think that's a part of it too. They were like, this is kind of untested with the Battlefield crowd. Is this going to work? Are they going to like it?
it's so good though.
Yeah.
They put the
I
other
don't
game
know.
modes in there. They put shoot down a freaking turtle dove. Why
Oh
wouldn't
yeah,
they?
yeah, yeah. But you know
Yeah.
what? Maybe it has to do with the fact that they don't cycle operations that same server, because everybody gets booted off the server and then next server, and you can't
Yeah.
stay in the server.
Till it
I don't
fills.
understand the
Right.
design decision. Why can't I just stay in a server and play through all operations in a row or something?
If you press the options button, it shows you the server number, but then people can't join it. Have you ever did that?
Yeah.
No.
While you're in operations, if you press the options button up at the top right, it scrolls the server number, and people try to join that way, and they can't. They got to be on your friends list, of course.
Okay, so I think that's my quick answer to that. And just the reason it's not in the server list is because the server ends at the end. And I don't understand why they just didn't put everybody from that server into a next operation, have them quit if they don't want to play, and have them continue playing if they would like to play. I don't know. I don't know. So let's see. Next question. Do we have a question?
We got a question about, do you think they're going to bring a new operation in the March DLC?
Who's this question directed at?
Yes. That's directed at you specifically from Shiva 1994.
Okay, Shiva, I think, I hope. My hope is that they would. I didn't, like, talking about that new DLC that came out, I was disappointed that there's no operation. And I don't know about you guys, like, that map sucks. You guys like that map?
I like the map when it's not foggy. I'll say that.
Okay. Mambo?
I love it. I don't know.
Is he? I don't know, man.
I don't know. I mean, it's
I think it's the worst map in the game right now.
Yeah. But I mean, like in regards to premium and that upcoming DLC for March, DICE has confirmed that new operations are coming. Do I think that there's going to be one for that DLC pack? Yeah. I
I would be
can't
surprised if there
imagine them
wasn't.
not having it in there.
Izzy, we have a question for you. Ready? We have a question. So, Deity7 wants to know, can you say more about your take on the servers becoming mini communities onto themselves? I'd like to know what that looks like compared to us on PC. On PC, they are truly vital.
Yeah, I think they were a big part of Battlefield 4. There were some huge servers that were always populated that became massively successful on console, at least on PlayStation. There was a few that were, every hour of the day they were always full no matter what. And you had entire clans and groups that would run these servers, and people would come back to the same servers day after day. And I had, a handful of servers that I would always go and play on because I knew the admins. I knew they weren't going to unfairly kick or ban people. I liked the map rotations or the custom rules they had. And to me, that was a really big part of the game. And I don't think Battlefield 4 would have lasted as long on console without that addition. I think it was vital.
What I see is like once the game kind of it's been like a year and a half out there or something, it seems like the regular servers kind of die off, and then you get these community servers who continuously have people who play hardcore, and those
Exactly.
servers persist. Like right now, you can probably go on BF4 and find that 24/7
Hardcore Metro.
Hardcore Metro,
Yeah.
or you can find that one. I used to love this one on Conquest. It was Silk. What was that? The
Oh, I know.
the desert map, and it was
Yeah,
like
Silk
the
Road.
Teabagger's room or something.
Yes, I remember that server.
That server
Yeah.
was great, man. It was just the same map over and over, and people loved it. I loved it.
I miss stuff like that. See, the
Okay.
fact that we both knew that server means that they're important.
Yeah, that's
See,
true.
And any server that had like Metro on it 24/7, I was there.
Yep,
You
me too.
really Metro fan?
24/7 Locker and Metro.
Yeah,
Yep.
those are
The
crazy.
grind.
Mambo, we have a question for you from Randomized Hero. Says Mambo B, are they ever going to take out a game for your party is available from happening in a match? It should be definitely a menu only option.
I hate that thing.
Yeah, I think that's one thing we can all agree on, that's very annoying. If somebody's in your chat party, your PSN party, and they join a game, they've even joined your same game you're in, and it pops up. It's like, wait a minute,
Yep.
why am I going to go join my own game?
Dude,
That doesn't make sense.
Really?
Like,
No.
yes,
got
that's what I
killed
thought.
so much.
No, I didn't want that. No, I didn't.
What? Wait. Please explain this to me, because I never play with parties. I'm always in game chat. So I don't. Honest to God, I have no idea. So you're playing, and all of a sudden it stops you from playing, or what?
Yeah,
It
it
is
pops
big
up a
Throws a
box.
message up in the middle of your game. It says a game for your party is available. Do you want to join? But you're pressing like X to freaking pull out, like to revive or to reload your gun or something, and all of a sudden you're hitting yes to join the game.
Quit.
It's like, no,
It
my whole
takes you out of
the
brain
game.
is black.
It's
It
awful.
takes you out of your game, dude. It is crazy.
What?
It is nuts.
And who thought this was okay?
They definitely randomized. You got one of the guys part of the Game Changers program here. You need to spread your word.
Press A.
You know what I mean? Exactly.
It's legit how
Wow.
annoying it is. And then you accidentally press it, and then it's like, oh, I just left the game that I was in.
Mambo,
Right.
is that coming in the next update though? That's the question.
hope
Right.
so.
I wish it would be. I'll send a message over to Sledgehammer. I kind of talk to Sledgehammer 70 every now and then. He's more involved with the Battlefront 2 community now. But I'll send a message. Yo, when you gonna take out that freaking your party has a game available? Do you want to join? I'll say, hey, when are we gonna get rid of that? But yeah.
How
I
about
agree
what
with you on that one.
what
That one's
we'll
a
do
tough one.
is all four of us, when we're done, we'll all tweet at them at Battlefield. Hey, yo, when are you gonna take this off? And everybody in
Feel
the
like a
chat,
chain
all right,
letter.
we'll
We'll
retweet
start
it
it
or
trending.
something.
Right.
We'll get
Start a
trending
trend.
on Twitter.
And on Twitter. Yeah.
All right. Do we have another question? So, all right. So a general question by Afro asking all of us, saying, when will the next podcast happen? It's a great idea, and will there be any other guests to join to bring other perspectives? Okay. So the next podcast is going to happen in 2 weeks. So right now we're doing bi-monthly, all of us. We are the regular crew, and if we happen to get a guest, it'd be kind of fun. So that may happen in the future. I don't have any guests lined up, to be honest. But in 2 weeks. So we're doing it bi-monthly right now. And it'll be about this time, Sunday. And you can follow the Twitter. It's called the... I should know this. I should know this, right? The Let's Talk Cast. Because, you
Yes.
can't put Let's Talk Podcast. Because, Twitter has a limitation how long your name is. I'm sorry. Don't have a long name. It's called the Let's Talk Cast on Twitter, and you can follow that there. And we will be updating that as soon as we have information when the next one goes live and things like that. And even as far as guests, that'd be the way to go. Do we have another question?
We've got one from A Cash Money 99 that's been up there for a little bit. It said, would you guys play the game if operations didn't exist?
Loaded question.
I would play, but I don't think I'd play it as much.
Right.
Operations is saved that game for me. I mean, I like the other game modes, but Operations is, it's always something fun to do. I really find Operations boring. It's a game mode I can depend on to have fun.
Yeah. BTFO.
Yeah, it works nicely in that game. I feel like when I've played the closed alpha and then I played the beta and there was just Conquest, I really enjoyed it. I was like, yo, Sinai Desert Conquest, great fun. I was like, St. Quentin Scar Conquest, great fun. So I wasn't even like, I might just play Conquest, guys. This looks like a great time. But once they showed me what Operations was, I was like, what? So now my expectations are here. Conquest is like there, So I think maybe if there was no Operation, we'd all be like, oh, but the Conquest is so good,
Yeah.
Maybe.
No, I'd agree. I actually, I enjoyed Operations when the game came out, and I've been actually playing it less and less. I've been playing more Conquest, and my other game mode that I really like, primarily just because I get battle packs a lot on it, is Domination. which, sometimes, even though I love playing assault and blowing up vehicles, sometimes you're like, I need a change of pace, and I really enjoy that game mode. So to answer the question, yeah, definitely, I would still be playing it
I think
no
so
matter
too.
what. But we did have another question, and you guys can definitely answer this too, because it's kind of a very strong opinion question.
Ooh.
Thoughts on progression system in Battlefield 1? Wait, there's a progression system? What?
Yeah, you get to level 3 and then you grind till 10.
Yeah, I think they could do things differently. I'd like it if they would work in with like the medals, because the medals there. I think if I get a medal, I should get more than just like XP, especially with the very random frequency of battle packs in this game. Like if I complete a medal, I should get a battle pack just to humor myself,
Yeah.
because they're given out like so
Randomly.
infrequently for a
Would've-
lot of people, especially
would've
if you're not
been-
at the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah. No, it doesn't have to do anything with the top of leaderboard.
It's completely random.
Yeah, completely random. So it would have been nice to get battle packs with hard work and at the same time get them randomly.
Yeah. And that you kind of had with Battlefield 4 and Battlefield Hardline.
Yep, progression wise.
That would happen. And, and I think if they can
Why
work
didn't they
that in
do that?
with medals in Battlefield 1 and, with something else, I mean, that would kind of increase the end game for things, to make it so you have more things to work towards. But, unfortunately, I think the progression system in Battlefield 1 is probably going to stay the way that it is in regards to the guns that are available and just being able to buy them versus unlocking them. Maybe things will change with the DLCs and they'll do it differently. I would like that to happen. I'd also like to be able to buy battle packs with my, like 50,000 war bonds. That would be nice. But with the upcoming DLC, it would be nice to have certain conditions to unlock those DLC weapons instead of them just being like.
You mean like maybe assignments? The assignments in Battlefield 4?
Yeah, exactly.
They were pretty fun for the most part.
And
some were hard though.
Kind of what we're saying with medals here is like, medals are kind of the new assignments in a way.
Yeah, and I don't like the medals because they're very glitchy right now.
Yeah.
Sometimes I complete them, then I go to the main menu and it says I didn't. And then I'm like, why should I start doing all this hard work to complete them when I'm like it's not gonna count. So I'm waiting for that update when they finally update it and everything's working, and then I'll go and do these things. But
I just want the quit button to work.
Please.
You're a quitter. You can't be a quitter.
No,
Don't
at
be
the
a
end of
quitter.
the match.
Yeah.
No, not even at the end of the match. Never quit. Here's another question by Shiva, and it's to all of us. Says, are you guys also hyped for new guns? I think the guns need some more variation. What's your
Big
take
time
on variation?
I need more guns.
Yeah.
Or buff the LMGs.
And
make
I
those
will
usable.
quote you on that, Izzy. One day when you do something insane, I'll be like, he said it. I need more guns.
I do. I think there needs to be some more guns in a bad kind of way. I've already run through all the available ones. I'd like to start using some new stuff.
And they don't have to bring them all out at one time. They could do, say, pistols one time. They could bring some new melee weapons, then some more LMG, something like that. They don't have to drop them every one across every class. They could do, okay, we're going to give new weapons for this faction. We're bringing out France in our next DLC or whatever. Give weapons that were of that, faction, and let you unlock it only when you play that faction.
How about I feel like, yeah, there's a lack of weapons, but I don't feel like there's a lack of variation. But like the gameplay wise, they kind of went and checkboxed everything that's kind of out there for FPS game. Like for instance, if you look at the Assault, they have the shotgun that shoots far and is like pump. Then they have the fast shotgun. Then they have a SMG that's really good at up close. That's it. Then they have an SMG that's medium, but there's a variation that's like burst fire, which is like, oh, they call the experimental. You know what I'm saying? So I feel
Mhm.
like there is variation even across the kits. Like if you look at like sniper, you look at there's a sniper rifle that's up close only, like the Martini. There's a sniper rifle that's far away. You know, there's a sniper rifle that reloads while you're looking. That's my favorite, the Gewehr 95. And so they kind of have the variation. I don't know how much. If they add weapons, are they gonna be very different than what's out there? You know?
Even if they just look different, I'd be okay with it. Just so I'm not
maybe
staring
like,
at the same gun the whole
same gun all the
time.
Yeah.
But thinking of weapons, I think it'd be cool if they added some more weapon customization with DLC, like attachments, because I hate not having attachments. I mean, I hate the
Yeah.
variation system.
Why did they do
Just
that?
let me customize my own guns.
Yeah, I think we've become spoiled by
Right.
a lot of those games. You know, even the past Call of Duty games and the past Battlefield games, where you just had complete control. Like, this is my weapon; I get to do with it what I
Right.
want.
They didn't have a Picatinny rail on guns back then, you know.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem with the era. But at the same point, like, we're not playing a historically accurate shooter. here.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhat a little bit different. Izzy, you have a question here. As a PC player, how much control should the renter have over rented servers? I've watched many streams from Ravik and his squad where they or viewers get repeatedly banned or timed out for just trying to enjoy the game their way within the rules, of course.
Well,
That
I think
Battlefield
it
4?
probably four.
Yeah.
That's what he's talking
Yeah.
about. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it sucks getting banned and stuff. But I mean, you go to the next server, and eventually you'll find ones that have great admins, and you don't get banned if you're following the rules and stuff. And of course, there's always the official servers you can play in where you have no chance of getting banned or kicked. But I think if people shell out the money, they should have the option to control their own server in whatever way they want to.
Well, and a question here, because I don't know how they work specifically for Battlefield 4, because I never rented one. Like, were you able to turn off certain guns on the servers in Battlefield
No.
4?
No.
So
You see,
Battlefield 1 does that right in a regard, because I hated going
Yeah.
to the servers and it's like, no shotguns. And then as soon as I jump in the game, I get murdered by a
shotgun,
shotgun. So I do like that they have the ability to control those kinds of things on those servers. but-
those servers should have been called "No Shotguns, Please." Like,
Yeah.
please, come on, man.
honor system, no shotguns.
Right.
You know
No
what?
stingers. No stingers. Iglas only. You know?
No stingers.
Yeah.
Hey, man, throw rocks at my chopper while I kill you. You know,
Right.
like,
Yeah, pretty much like
No
server
stingers.
admin. is
I'm going to
the
go on
chopper.
an 80 kill streak. Right.
yeah.
First person
Watch me.
down gets banned.
I'm sorry, that's too funny, man. 80 kill streak.
I went on an 80 kill streak in Battlefield 3.
Oh my god, man. Listen, I think ultimately what the problem with that is when you decide that in your server no X or Y is allowed, or too many snipers, we can only have 3 per team, that takes away from what Battlefield is. And that's why DICE doesn't want to let you do it. On console, we couldn't have limited it in any sort of way. There was always just, please be nice, this is pistols only, But on PC, the issue is, and this is the PC crowd kind of speaking out against this, because like Flack just said, we got more options now that BF1 came out comparatively to my console experience. I ran a server for 2 years. Mambo ran a server for 2 years, Izzy, you've been part of many servers, and Flack, you too. That's something we never had access to. It was a third-party PC add-on that let people kick people out. Say you happen to kill somebody with the shotgun. When the kill feed would say, blah, 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 killed someone with a shotgun, and as soon as the PC picked that up, it would kick you out, auto-ban you. And so that came in towards the end of that Battlefield cycle when, we talked about before, your regular servers kind of died off, the official ones, and all you had is community-driven servers now. And some of these community-driven servers on PC were doing these things like, oh, too many snipers, this is no sniper, you can't do this here, and get auto-banned and stuff. It ruins the experience for that player who just hops in and is not careful enough to read. And let's be honest, most players don't read. We'll just kind of go in, jump in the server. I had no idea this was a pistols only server, But you'd get banned. I don't know. It ruins the experience. I think they should give us the option, like make it more in a legit way, no third-party apps. But you can't call it an official server, so someone can't just, quick join into it.
Mm-hmm.
That's
got a question for Mambo there. He says, "What D-Blade 619 says, what would you think of a very few universal guns across the different classes?" And I think that's a great question.
Right. Right now we got two factions. We got we got Germany and we got Britain right now. Yeah.
No, but I think we're talking about across classes, right?
Yeah, we're like, so in Battlefield 4 and in Hardline 2, I think there was like
Carbines.
a weapon that you got that you could use for any class. So you could be playing as a scout and still have an automatic weapon. So you had all the scout's abilities plus an automatic weapon. Thoughts on that happening in Battlefield 1?
Right. Well, the reason why I'm bringing up the factions is because they had their specific guns. I think once you got to that max rank of that faction, then it should allow you the ability to use it across your other factions. Kind of like what they did in Battlefield 4. I think they did that where you could unlock a gun.
That was in Hardline.
Was it in Hardline?
You got the weapon license.
Yeah, so you could use it across other classes, and especially if we get more factions and you get France, you get the US, or you get Russia, then maybe when you reach max unlock on that faction, then hey, allow them to use a Gewehr sniper rifle, something that the Germans would run around with in the Britain army, if they maxed it all the way out. I like it.
But
I just think you need to earn it. I like the earn. I like the grind. I don't like the grind like Destiny. I don't like the grind like the Division. But definitely we do need a little bit more unlock, like work to get something. It makes you feel like the people that play the game more get a little bit of a bonus for playing the game so much. But a few universal guns would be good. I mean, you got the M1911 right now. Everybody uses that.
The pistols are universal, but no. So I think what D-Blade was trying to say is, what do you think of a very few universal guns across the different classes? Not factions, I think he meant to say. Basically, he's talking about you have assault, you have medic, you have support, you have sniper, and they all have designated weapons.
Across the classes.
Yeah, right, like in BF4 we had the carbine. Like a sniper could equip a carbine. Anyone could equip a carbine. In this game, we don't have that. I mean, what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, like the Mondragon sniper variant, the sniper should be able to get to use that, in my opinion. If a medic is going to get a kind of like a DMR, then I think the sniper should get a DMR. Right now, I've been using the Gewehr and the MK3 carbine version in the sniper class, and it absolutely wreaks havoc.
I seen you on your stream do that. I was like, okay, interesting.
But it's almost taking like what the medics are doing, and it brings it to the sniper class. So yeah, D-Blade, guns that go across all factions, maybe one or two would be nice. Yeah, I agree.
I'm on the other side of that conversation. I kind of like people to be set into what they're supposed to do. And the other day, since my toe got wrecked, absolutely wrecked, so I was at home.
Everybody's chatting about Echo's toe. What's wrong with his toe?
I posted pictures and it was bad. But you don't want to go to my Twitter page right now, guys. Don't do it. So my toe got wrecked, and I was like home. I'm like, oh, let's play some Battlefield 1. I played a ton of Battlefield 1. And then I got a little bit, tired. And I was like, took a lunch break. And I sat down. I'm like, you know what? Let's fire up BF4. I fired up BF4. And there was a time where I came up to a sniper. And I saw him looking at me. I'm like, I got this guy, And all of a sudden, he kills me with a carbine. I'm like, yeah, that's right. They could have those guns in this game. And I'm like, that sucks. Because I visually see that he's a sniper. I'm having him at a disadvantage. And I'm like, oh, I got him. Yes. And then he just wrecks me with MTAR, And I'm like, yeah, I forgot that this game works like this. I kind of don't like that. I think sniper in Battlefield 1 has options for close and that, but they're very single shot. And then it does have the experimental, which is kind of interesting, and it's a little bit fun. And if you have a fast trigger finger, it's hilarious. But I like kits to be very defined, and that they can't have that one carbine for everybody, because then everybody would run it, and it kind of takes away from the game. That's my opinion.
Yeah, it does dilute the the uniqueness of the classes if you do it that way. Like I do like the idea because I like to, and I'll do it sometimes with the scout class. I'll equip the experimental and, run real close
I do that all the
to
time.
everything because they've got, the spotting flare, which is real nice if you're trying to play close support to your teammates. That's a great thing to have, especially like trying to get through the bunkers on Monte Grappa, for example. Like that's
Those
a great thing to
bunkers.
have, but
Those bunkers, guys.
yeah, there is a
Nightmares.
trade-off with that.
Let's
Sorry.
let's move on to the next question. Pastrana 199 asks me, what would you guys think about getting a test range for BF1? I think some people could really need that. Yeah, that'd be great. And I don't think anyone disagrees.
I think an obstacle course for the planes would be awesome, like fly through tunnels and stuff like that. That would be cool.
Learn how to fly. Obstacle course.
Right. Like going through tunnels. The first time I flew the tunnel there in the Kingdom map, Empire's Edge, and there's a bridge that goes over to the E flag on Conquest. There's like a waterway, and there's a hole, and you can fly under the bridge. I pulled that off, and the other guy chasing me ran right into the bridge. I was laughing so hard. I'm like, dude, I felt like a god. Like, yes, I am Red Baron. It's like they definitely need something kind of like an obstacle course for the flying would be really cool. Yeah.
I would totally be behind it as long as they have like dummies and it's like revive this dummy.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah. They need to teach them revive the dummy.
Yeah. I made a YouTube video and it says landmines for dummies because I seen somebody put landmines on the curb up next to a building. I'm like, what is that going to do? Like, really? Like, honestly. But you YouTubers know you can't infringe on copyrights, so you can't use the for dummies word.
Oh, really? That's a thing?
It's a patented word for dummies.
Oh my God! What world do we live in?
Yep. Can't put that in text. Oh,
you know what though? Flack, this is something for you. I know you really enjoyed Hardline, and I kind of did. And I went back to it once, and all of a sudden I found this gun bench place.
Yeah,
and you can see your guns and try them out. It was like cool. You're in like your hideout. It was like, oh, what's this, man?
Yeah,
Kinda cool.
Gunbench was part of Premium for Battlefield Hardline. I forget which one it came out with, which expansion. But no, I did like that too. You look at a game like Battlefield and you're like, well, like it is kind of like Test Range, but with the way the weapons are designed, like I can't change out, various things on I can't do different grips and different, vastly different sights on the guns. So its usefulness is kind of limited. To have something like a gun range, it would be nice if we could make our own camouflage schemes, which you were able to do with that gun bench in Hardline. Like that would be a fun thing to play with there. But at the same point.
Right. So I would say that we all agree that some sort of gun range or all that would be nice. And we've spoken about this in the beginning of the podcast when we all said like it would be nice to have a better tutorial. And that could be part of a tutorial level, and you can revisit that and kind of have like free range in that tutorial level. I don't see why not. Let's take one more question here because we are getting to the end of the podcast, guys. Last question for today. We're gonna go with Josh. Josh RK asks the crew, says, do you think they should remove the skip to revive option?
Yes. Yeah.
No.
I think.
Whoa!
Oh.
I say no.
No? I think that there should just be that set amount of time that you have to revive somebody. And if everyone just skips it, then you can never revive somebody. I've been right there so many times about to give someone a revive, and they skip it.
Yeah,
I'm like, if you just held out 1 second longer, I could have saved you. I like the way they did it more in Battlefield 4.
Or maybe it gives the medic a way to signal to the down player, I'm coming for you. Like a quick way to respond to that person being down. Like you could like spot them and Mambo, it would automatically tell them,
you don't pull up the chat
don't respawn. I'm going to revive you.
Pull up the chat and just type, hey man, wait, and then hit enter.
No, kind of like, how you spot enemies?
Yeah,
you could spot a downed ally, and it will like send them a little
Yeah.
quick message.
Oh,
Hey,
like a
medic-
quick
medic on the
spot?
way.
Oh, that'd be nice. Medic on the way. Yeah, that'd be
Well, it kind
interesting.
of does that. It tells you how far away the medic is,
But it
unless
doesn't
they
do what
never
he
come
said.
revive you.
That'd be a way better feature. Like you see somebody's down and you're noticing that you can see the icon kind of change as he's trying to like press and hold. And if you double tap like the spot button on him, it'll be like, hold on, man, I'm on my way. You know, like that'd be interesting. But why do you say no, Flack?
I say no in that I like the ability to decide if I get revived or not. Okay, because like they're like
So
I will
Flack,
do a lot
Flack
of
is
YOLO stuff
pro-choice,
where I'll just
guys.
like
Pro-choice.
bayonet charge around a corner or something dumb. And that would not be a good place for a medic to come and try and revive me, partially because they'll probably die. And if they manage
Right.
to revive me, I will also die as well. So I like the ability to say, no, don't do it. And by skipping the revive, I think you have that ability. At the same point, like the other class that I play a lot aside from assault is medic. And yeah, it is real frustrating where you literally walk up to someone, you have the needle out, and then it's like, it just disappeared. And then you get, shot in the face by somebody like way across the map. That does suck. Like, admittedly, the other way that I would do it maybe is that, like, I do think that the revive timer lasts way too long in Battlefield 1. Like, I think you should have like 10 seconds to do it, and if you don't do it in that time, like, you got to respawn.
Oh, you mean like if I sit there and I get my coffee and I can get revived, that's a problem?
Kinda, because of like how easy it is to have somebody just go on this revive train, and it's like you managed to take out a whole bunch of their team, and you got one medic who's got like 60 seconds to just run around and revive every single person
Yeah,
on that side of the map.
you
Like,
could do it.
Yeah, us streamers,
should
we use
draw a
that. We
line
want to use
somewhere.
that time to talk to our chat when we're dead, but we don't get that time anymore.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'm
Like,
constantly
wait a minute,
getting
who revived me?
revived.
I was talking to the chat.
Yeah, I used to love dying in Battlefield 4 because I'd be like, oh, so what's everyone talking
skip
about?
the revive. You just skipped a revive
Oh,
button.
but that feels dirty. You know what? I think, Mambo, you hit it on the nail. It would be nice to have that feature that tells somebody, yo, I'm on my way. I think that doesn't take away from the game. It
Right.
adds
If they
something
want to
good to the
respawn,
game.
they can. Right.
Yeah, and I
It's-
think ultimately, I'm for the choice. The player should have the choice whether he wants to or not. And if we're concerned about the players who don't know that there's medics around, that means that DICE isn't doing a good enough job in their tutorials to educate the player to say, hey, at the bottom, that little thing says how far a medic is. Do you think they're even looking at the bottom left?
I'd say probably not, but
No.
No,
at
I'd
the
say
same
probably
point,
not.
like I totally agree with what Mambo is saying. Like if they pop something up on the screen, like if you, I mean, because we're all used to doing it. Like the
Yeah.
people who play Battlefield a lot, we are used to like double tapping that button to tell someone I need ammo or I need health or
Yeah.
attack this objective if you're the squad leader. If you were a medic, like it's going to be second nature to look at somebody who's down, double tap that button because you're used to doing it for spotting too. And if they just throw something up on their screen that says a medic is on the way,
Big fireworks, everything.
yeah,
I think that's a
like,
great idea.
medic,
Oh, that message. Press A.
then that would be like the perfect solution for me. I mean, they could still kind of be a jerk and skip it, but at least they would hopefully know that, oh, a medic is coming, and
He
it would,
acknowledged I was down. Right.
yeah,
That's true.
and for the experienced players like us, like it's only like a plus, like there's no downside to that, so
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, guys, we went through a bunch of your questions, and thank you so much for hanging out in the chat, watching us talk about Battlefield, giving your opinions. As I said before, all four of us are looking to do this twice a week, twice a month. Twice a week would be crazy. Twice a month. We all have busy schedules, and that's just the only time we can slot it in. But I still think it's important for us to have a conversation, for you guys to join in that conversation, because ultimately, if we don't have this conversation, nothing will get changed. And if we do have this conversation, something might. And I'd rather be on the something might side than nothing will, I love this game. I know everybody does too. So I want to thank everybody for watching. And we're just going to go across the the crew to just so they can let you know where you can find them when we're not live streaming here on the Let's Talk Battlefield cast. Go ahead, Izzy.
All right, yeah. If you guys want to check out any of my videos, you can always find them at YouTube. You can just search my name, Izzy Gone Crazy. You can find it on YouTube or Twitter. It'll be right there. It's been great being part of the podcast. I gotta thank Echo for putting all this together. This has been his little child right here, and he did all the work. So big round of applause to him. I think he did a really good job.
Thank you for being here. You know, it's kind of a passion project, but it was inspired by meeting you guys, and it really speaks to that. Mambo, let them know where you at.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to everybody a part of the stream. I'm grateful for the channel, grateful for the followers, grateful for the viewers, grateful for Echo pushing me to play stronger and better. Nice meeting you, Flack, Izzy. I want to see this Twitch Girls Gone Crazy on your YouTube channel. I want to go check that out. But no, for real, I just want to say I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be in the position I'm in. Not everybody can afford to do what we do, whether it's time, money, or whatever. So I just want to thank everybody that came out to the podcast today. It's one of hopefully many to come. I know it's a touchy subject for Echo to approach us all and say, hey, do you want to be a part of this? I don't know how you feel. Do you have any beef in the community? You seem like a I think all of us, Izzy, Flack, Echo, you're a very straight shooter. Don't like all the drama. And that's where I have, mad respect for Echo. He's drama free, and at least we try to be. And I want to say thank you to everybody that came out today. It's really, really cool. I'm looking forward to the next one, man.
So just tell everybody where they can find you with your links. So
you guys know me, Mambo_B on Twitch. You could also find me on YouTube. Just started up my YouTube channel. I'm a puppy at the YouTube stuff, and apparently graphic work too. But anyways, you can find me here on Twitch as well as Echo. And you can also find me on the Battlefield. You can look up the Mambinos server if you guys want to help us anytime on that. That'd be great to get that going. So, yeah.
All right. And Flack?
Yeah. I do primarily everything on YouTube. So if you want to go to youtube.com/FlackFireGaming, or you can type it in the little search box there and it'll show up. If you want to chat about Battlefield stuff, easiest way to do that is on Twitter, which is, at FlackFireGaming. So hop over there, say hi. That would be great. Also do stuff on Facebook. And again, that's Facebook/FlackFireGaming. And hopefully going to try and do some Twitch streaming here soon. I'm waiting on a card from Elgato, but man, I just feel like I'm saying link after link, but twitch.tv/FlackFire. So if you like historical stuff, World War I, go check out the YouTube. It's a great place.
All right.
And I want to echo what everybody's saying about Echo about putting this together, because he really spearheaded this thing and made it all possible. Did all the graphics and everything.
The graphics are on point.
He really wanted to do this, and I'm happy to do it, especially with somebody who is all about things being positive in regards to let's be constructive about making a better Battlefield environment. And that's something that he said that I was like, yes, all right, sign me up, let's go. That's something that's important to me. And playing games is one of the greatest experiences out there when you play it with other people, and you make friends. And it's one of the best things in my life is gaming. And in that regard, to help build a more positive community, yeah, this is a great thing. So we'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
All right. I want to thank all you guys being here, of course, and thank you for the kind words that even though I did want to put this all together, if without you guys, it wouldn't be it. So I want to thank the cast here, Izzy, Mambo, and Flack, for coming on this project, believing in it, and starting a nice open forum for a good discussion. You can find me, of course, on twitch.tv/EchoLimits. That's EKOLIMITS, not the ECHO. Yeah. So it's EchoLimits with a K. And you can also find me on Twitter. That's the best place to catch me when I'm not here or anywhere else on my channels. And that's EchoLimits as well on Twitter. And the only thing that's different is YouTube is Echo Limits Live. And with that, I want to close it off and say thank you for watching. Thank you for staying awesome in the chat, giving us great questions, and having a great discussion. Seriously. We will be back in 2 weeks. Well, hopefully there'll be some crazy updates to Battlefield that we can all talk about. And I'm pretty sure the news about the DLCs coming out is going to be crazy. There's always something to talk about Battlefield, so I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for watching, guys. Thumbs up from me. And we are off.
All right.
Do we do some sort of sign-offs? Because I know, you know, you're supposed to do a sign-off, right? Isn't that a written rule that we're supposed to have a sign-off?
There you go.
I'll just here. Like,
a game for your party is available. We gotta go, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for
See you in
watching.
2 weeks, chat.